There are moments in life when silence becomes louder than words, when absence feels heavier than presence, and when a single no echoes through the corridors of your mind louder than 1,000 affirmations ever could. Rejection has a peculiar way of arriving uninvited, stripping away not just opportunities, but illusions. Illusions about who we thought we were, what we believed we deserved, and how we imagined the world would respond to us. It does not knock politely, it crashes through the fragile architecture of our expectations, leaving behind a quiet chaos that forces us to confront a question most people spend their entire lives avoiding. What am I worth when no one chooses me? This question is not simple, it is not comfortable, and yet it is one of the most important questions a human being can ever ask. Because beneath the pain of rejection lies a deeper truth, one that psychology, philosophy, and history have whispered across centuries. Rejection does not destroy your worth. It reveals the fragile places where you have attached your worth to things that were never meant to define you. From a psychological perspective, human beings are wired for belonging. The need to be accepted is not weakness, it is biology. Long before modern civilization, being rejected by the tribe meant death. Survival depended on connection, and so, deep within your nervous system, rejection still triggers a primal alarm. Your brain does not distinguish between being excluded from a social group and being abandoned in the wilderness. Both feel like threats to your existence. This is why rejection hurts so intensely. It is not just emotional, it is neurological. But here is where awareness becomes power. What once served as a survival mechanism in ancient times has now become a source of suffering in modern life. Today, rejection does not mean death. It means redirection, it means misalignment, it means that something, somewhere, did not fit. And yet, the mind interprets it as a verdict on your value. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche once wrote, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." What he implied was that meaning determines endurance. But what if rejection strips away your why? What if it makes you question your identity itself? This is where most people break. Not because they are weak, but because they have never been taught how to separate their identity from external validation. You were not born doubting your worth. Think about that for a moment. As a child, you did not question whether you deserved love. You did not measure your value based on approval. You existed fully, expressed freely, and believed, without needing proof, that you mattered. But somewhere along the way, the world began to teach you conditions. Love became something to earn. Approval became something to chase. Worth became something to negotiate. And so, when rejection arrives, it does not just hurt. It confirms a fear that has been quietly growing within you for years. Maybe I am not enough. But this belief is not truth. It is conditioning. The psychologist Carl Rogers spoke about what he called conditional positive regard. The idea that people only feel valued when they meet certain expectations imposed by others. Over time, individuals internalize these conditions and begin to evaluate themselves through the lens of external approval. When they succeed, they feel worthy. When they fail or are rejected, they feel diminished. This is the invisible trap. You begin to outsource your self-worth to people, outcomes, and circumstances that are inherently unstable. And then, when those things inevitably shift, as all things in life do, you feel as though you have lost a part of yourself. But you have not lost yourself. You have only lost the illusion that your worth was ever in their hands. Rejection, then, is not the end of your value. It is the beginning of your awareness. Consider the lives of those who have walked this path before you. J.K. Rowling was rejected by multiple publishers before the world ever heard of Harry Potter. Steve Jobs was removed from the very company he co-founded. Vincent van Gogh sold almost none of his paintings during his lifetime. History is not a record of constant acceptance. It is a testament to those who refused to let rejection define their worth. But their greatness was not born from avoiding rejection. It was born from transforming it. Transformation requires a shift, a deep internal reorientation of how you interpret your experiences. Instead of asking, "Why was I rejected?" you begin to ask, "What is this teaching me about where I have placed my worth?" This question changes everything, because suddenly rejection is no longer an attack. It becomes a mirror, and mirrors, though sometimes uncomfortable, are honest. They show you where you have been seeking validation outside yourself. They reveal the silent agreements you have made with the world. Agreements that say, if they choose me, then I am worthy, or if I succeed, then I deserve respect. But worth is not something that can be granted or revoked by others. It is not a transaction. It is not a reward. It is an inherent quality of your existence. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught that we suffer not because of events themselves, but because of our judgments about those events. Rejection, in itself, is neutral. It is simply information. It is the meaning you assign to it that determines whether it becomes a wound or a lesson. And yet, knowing this intellectually is not enough. Because rejection is not just an idea, it is an experience. It lives in the body, it tightens your chest, disrupts your sleep, replays conversations in your mind, and whispers doubts into your thoughts when you least expect it. It makes you hesitate the next time you want to try. It makes you question whether you should even try at all. This is where resilience is forged, not in comfort, but in confrontation. To rebuild your self-worth after rejection, you must be willing to sit with the discomfort without escaping it. You must allow yourself to feel the disappointment, the sadness, even the anger, without letting those emotions define you. Emotional intelligence is not about suppressing feelings. It is about understanding them without becoming enslaved by them. The modern psychologist Daniel Goleman emphasized that self-awareness is the foundation of emotional intelligence. When you can observe your reactions without immediately identifying with them, you create space between stimulus and response. And in that space lies your freedom. Freedom to choose a different narrative. Freedom to say, this rejection hurts, but it does not determine my value. Freedom to rebuild, not from ego, but from truth. Because the truth is this, your worth was never on trial. Rejection is not a courtroom where your value is judged. It is a crossroads where your direction is decided. And sometimes, what feels like a closed door is not a denial. It is protection. Protection from paths that were never aligned with who you are becoming. Protection from environments that would have required you to shrink in order to fit. But this perspective requires patience. It requires trust in a process that does not always reveal its logic immediately. The ancient philosopher Socrates famously said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." Rejection forces examination. It disrupts autopilot. It compels you to question not only what you want, but why you want it. And in that questioning, something remarkable begins to happen. You start to shift from seeking validation to seeking alignment. You begin to ask not, do they want me? But, is this right for me? This is the moment where self-worth begins to rebuild, not as a fragile construct dependent on others, but as a stable foundation rooted in self-awareness. But make no mistake, this process is not linear. There will be days when you feel strong, grounded, and clear, and there will be days when the echo of rejection returns, whispering old doubts into your mind. This is not failure. This is healing. Healing is not the absence of pain. It is the transformation of your relationship with it. And perhaps this is the deeper purpose of rejection, not to diminish you, but to refine you, not to break you, but to awaken you. Not to tell you that you are not enough, but to force you to discover that you always were. Because the most dangerous form of rejection is not the one that comes from others, it is the one you internalize. When you begin to reject yourself, to doubt your own voice, to silence your own desires, you become disconnected from your essence. And no amount of external acceptance can fill that void. But when you choose, consciously, deliberately, to stand in your own worth, even after being rejected, something powerful happens. You become unshakable, not because the world stops rejecting you, but because you stop abandoning yourself in response to it. And that is where true strength is born. And so you arrive here, not at the end of rejection, but at the edge of a realization that has the power to redefine your entire life. Because now, if you are truly honest with yourself, you can see it clearly. The rejection that once felt like an ending was never meant to diminish you. It was meant to strip you of illusions, strip you of dependencies, strip you of the quiet, unconscious belief that your worth could be measured by the hands that either held you or let you go. What you thought was loss was, in truth, liberation. Liberation from the exhausting need to be chosen. Liberation from the silent fear of not being enough. Liberation from a life where your value rises and falls based on opinions that were never stable to begin with. And in that liberation, something profound begins to emerge. Not loudly, not suddenly, but steadily, like the first light of dawn breaking through a long night. You begin to see yourself, not through the eyes of those who rejected you, but through a deeper, quieter awareness that asks for no permission to exist. There is a moment, subtle, almost sacred, when you stop asking, "Why wasn't I enough?" and start asking, "Why did I ever believe I wasn't?" That question changes everything, because it leads you back to a truth that no rejection can erase. Your worth is not something that can be granted by acceptance or taken away by refusal. It is not fragile, it is not conditional, it is not negotiable, it simply is. The philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre once suggested that we are condemned to be free, meaning that we alone are responsible for the meaning we assign to our lives. And perhaps nowhere is this freedom more evident than in the aftermath of rejection. You can choose to let it define you, or you can choose to let it awaken you, because rejection, in its harshest form, forces a confrontation between who you were trying to be and who you truly are. It dismantles the false identities you constructed to gain approval, and in doing so, it creates space for authenticity, for clarity, for a kind of self-respect that is no longer dependent on applause. And this is where your power lies, not in being accepted by everyone, but in no longer needing to be. There is a quiet strength in a person who has been rejected and still chooses to stand tall, not out of arrogance, not out of defiance, but out of understanding that their value is not up for debate, understanding that their path does not require universal approval, understanding that the right places, the right people, and the right opportunities will not require them to betray themselves in order to belong. This is not a philosophy of isolation, it is a philosophy of alignment. Because when you stop chasing acceptance, you start attracting truth. You attract environments where you are not tolerated but appreciated. You attract relationships where you are not evaluated but understood. You attract opportunities where you are not forced to prove your worth, but invited to express it. And most importantly, you cultivate a relationship with yourself that is no longer built on criticism, but on respect. Think about the life you could live from this place. A life where rejection no longer paralyzes you, but refines you. A life where failure no longer defines you, but teaches you. A life where you no longer shrink to fit expectations, but expand into your own potential. Because the truth is, the world does not reward those who are universally accepted. It remembers those who are unapologetically themselves. History has never been shaped by those who avoided rejection. It has been shaped by those who endured it, learned from it, and refused to let it dictate the limits of their identity. And now, that choice stands before you. You can return to the old pattern, seeking approval, fearing rejection, questioning your worth every time the world says no. Or you can rise into a new way of being, one where your worth is self-defined, self-sustained, and unshaken by external outcomes. But understand this clearly, this path is not easy. It requires courage, the kind of courage that does not shout but persists. The kind of courage that allows you to show up again after being turned away. The kind of courage that whispers, even in moments of doubt, "I am still worthy. I have always been worthy." And if you can hold on to that truth, if you can anchor yourself in it, then rejection loses its power over you. It becomes what it was always meant to be, a redirection, not a definition. A lesson, not a label. A moment, not your identity. So stand up, not as someone who was rejected, but as someone who has awakened. Stand up with the quiet confidence of a person who no longer begs to be chosen, because they have already chosen themselves. Stand up knowing that your worth does not fluctuate with opinions, outcomes, or circumstances. It is constant, it is inherent, it is yours. And as you move forward from this moment, carry this truth with you, not as a fragile belief, but as an unshakable foundation. You were never too little. You were never too late. You were never not enough. You were simply being prepared for a life that does not require your validation from the outside, because it is built from the strength within. And one day, you will look back at every rejection that once broke your heart, and you will understand. It did not break you. It built you.